So coming to the last one, that is the provision of redressal of grievances. Now there is a strong link, you know, between the provision of quality service and effective handling of complaints. So basically after sales, we say customer service is very important. So there must be quality. If the quality is also not maintained, there must be effective handling of complaints. So handling of complaints is very important. And yes sir, I will definitely see that, I'll make sure that this never happens again. So handling of complaints is also very important. That is why there must be a provision of quality service and effective handling of complaints. So now if you see, due to Narendra Modi's government, the PF department has become very good at this. I'm giving an example, okay? So now if you see, the quality service has become bang on, and in case if you do not receive your provident fund within months, you can even have a lodge a complaint, and believe me, the complaint is very fast, okay? You can even go to the higher authority, so you can even touch the prime minister. It is so effective, okay? So that is a very good way of responding the complaints and handling the complaints. And time and time they will send you messages that your complaint has gone to this department, and now this person is handling your complaint, and very soon you will get a call. So that is what is the effective way of. So we cannot blame all the government organization. It depends from government to government. So now this year, as I said, provident fund has become very easy and much smoother than the previous years, okay? So firstly, by facilitating and responding to complaints, the causes of complaints will be reduced. So that is why the more you respond to complaints, the causes will be reduced. You will understand that next time you will not do the same mistake, and hence there will be no complaints in the new future. Okay. And secondly, you have to identify the trend, like how is it going on? Is it a smooth functioning? Shall we change the system? Are the citizens being able to adopt it? So that is called as the service trend. So following the trends by way of complaints, you can easily say that the system is working or it is not working. Okay. So the service providers can resolve any systematic and recurring problems, when and when again the same problem is happening again and again. Maybe they can completely change the system. Okay. And that is called depending on the trend. So now I think you have understood the salient features of all these 5 points. That is, the first one is agreed and published standards for service and delivery. Then the second is openness and information about service delivery. The third is choice and consultation with users. The fourth is courtesy and helpfulness in service delivery. And the fifth is provision of redressal of grievances. Okay. But having such powerful citizens charter in India, we still have certain problems which are faced in implementing the charters. Okay, so let us see what are the problems. Okay, so let me delete this. Okay, so let me write down here the problems faced in implementing the charters. Okay, now as I told you before, or as indicated, when was it started? Let us write it again. The Citizens Charter Initiative in India had started in 1997, and the charters formulated are in the beginning stage of implementation. So this you have to remember a lot. Okay. Now, introduction of a new thought is very difficult in an organization. Suddenly implementing a new thought is very, very difficult. So, introduction and implementation of the concept of the Citizens Charter in the government of India was very, very complicated due to the old bureaucracy, or to the old people who were dealing with the government, or the people who were the government or the public servants, who were taking care. So the old bureaucrats were not very comfortable to adapt a new policy by way of citizens charter. So due to this old bureaucratic setup or procedures, or rigid or very very tough attitudes of the workforce, this citizens charter was always in the embryonic stage, or very in the beginning stage. So what are the problems because of this rigid attitude of the old government servants? Because if the old government servants are very lazy, they used to never come on time, they just thought themselves to be kings. Okay, so that is why, because of this, the citizens charter was always in the beginning stage. So these were the major obstacles, and we have to see which were the major obstacles. It was mostly because of the work habits or the bureaucracy of the old government people who were working under the organization. So now let us see the major obstacles. Okay, so we will take the points and understand, and each one by one. Okay, so let me wrap this. So this was the major obstacle. So the first one was the general thought of organizations which formulated citizens charters was that the exercise was to be performed because there was a direction from the top. So whatever the top level people used to do, that only used to be followed. Okay, now the consultation of process. So the top management people never even consulted, or they never even spoke about it. So what happened is, the consultation process was minimal or very very less. Let me write down here, very less or largely absent. So it was not there only. Okay, so it thus became a routine activity of the organization, and they had no focus. So let me write, it thus became one of the routine activities, okay, of the organization, and had no focus. Okay, let's see the next obstacle. Delete this. Okay, so we'll see the next obstacle. Okay, the second one was, now for any charter to work, or to implement they should have proper training. So there was no proper training, you can understand this. So there was no proper training and orientation. What is orientation? So whenever a new program is started or new course is started, they explain you about it, that what is going to be the course and how it's going to happen, and these are the things which you have to undertake. So that is called as orientation, making a new change and making you get used to or get adapted to the new program. That is called as orientation. Okay, so proper training and orientation as commitments of the charter cannot be expected to be delivered by a workforce that is unaware of the spirit and the main features of the charter. So if a person doesn't know anything, the actual spirit, the actual need, or the actual features of the charter, then you can understand what is going on, right? So however, what happened is the concerned staff was not sufficiently trained. Okay, so let me write down here, the concerned staff was not sufficiently trained. Okay, so nowadays if you see the new government structure, the new government employees, they are absolutely much better than the old government employees. And now if you see, there's a drastic change in these government offices. Okay, so now generally the government officers never used to go to office before 10:30. So now I'm assuming that most of the offices start from 9:30. But still there are certain offices which start at 10:30, and previously the government offices used to get over by 5, so before 5 minutes only they used to shut the counters. Okay, but whereas in private sectors you're not supposed to, even if it is 5 o'clock, even if there's this one customer or two customer, until unless all the customers don't get over, we are not supposed to close the counter. So that is the difference. And now if you see, the same mechanism has also been started in the government sectors. Okay, so this was the second problem. Let's see the third problem.